Game 5 went down last night.
Did it?
Game 5 went down last night in the Bay Area. What a big-time basketball game that was last night.
No, it was terrible.
I really enjoyed the act. That third quarter last night was dynamite. Certainly when the Celtics turned the tables on the Golden State Warriors in the third quarter. I was concerned for you last night, Chris, after the Celtics fell down early and then dug themselves back into this game. And halftime, I'm like, here come the Warriors with their usual third quarter, and the script was totally turned upside down, and the Celtics were the ones who came out of that locker room and hit the Warriors directly in the mouth. And that third quarter last night, from start to the last second when Jordan Poole let loose and the ball had just left his fingertips with 1/10 of a second left on the clock, and Jason Tatum rising and firing, and Marcus Smart doing his thing, and the Celtics bench doing their thing, and the defense was buzzing, and the Golden State Warriors were on the ropes. And then the fourth quarter hit, and Andrew Wiggins did his thing. Second consecutive game with a monster double-double for this former first overall drafted player out of Kansas. And Andrew Wiggins stepping up on a night where this is the proverbial phrase you always say, kind of fill in the blank. It's kind of like a Mad Lib. You just change the name of the proper noun of the GOAT player that we're talking about, and the statistics that you know are poor. You could just kind of fill them in. If I had told you, that's the way the sentence begins.
What if I told you?
Yeah, what if I told you? What if I told you that Curry, fresh off his 40-point Game 4 performance, that is one of those that you'll be talking about when he goes into the Hall of Fame. Fresh off of that performance, that he would come up empty from the three-point line. He would go 0 for 9 from the three-point line in this game.
Yep.
And it would be the first time in forever, to use a Frozen phrase from Step Up. It would be the first time in forever. Let me get you a better date for that. It would be the first time in 133 postseason games, ending the NBA record of streaks. 132 straight postseason games with at least a 3 made, and when you throw in regular season too. Steph Curry had a streak of 233 consecutive games in which he made a 3-point shot, and last night those streaks were broken. If I told you, Chris Brockman, that your team was going to pull that off, you'd think we're in great shape.
Win pretty easily.
But those bugaboo turnovers came up again. 16 appears to be the over-under line, the Mason-Dixon line, the fail-safe point. If the Celtics turn it over more than 16 times, they lose. If they turn it over fewer than that, they win. And they had 18 last night. One too many. And the officiating wasn't going their way. There was an absolute flop by my Michigan Wolverine, Jordan Poole. Called an offensive foul on Marcus Smart.
Right in front of Tony Brothers. Shocking.
Who calls it the other way.
Guy's awful.
And, once again, I just think you should use your challenge there. You hold on to it to the end. I guess the possessions become so tight at the end of the game. You just never know when you can actually turn the tide with a challenge. I know the Warriors attempted to do it earlier on in the second half to try and prevent Draymond Green from picking up another foul.
There was also one earlier in the game where it was an Otto Porter just literally tripped over his own feet.
Correct.
And they called the foul just because he threw it up and it looked bad.
Right, and it looked bad. But neither here nor there.
No, look, I get on the officiating a lot, but there was no excuse yesterday. We're just a dumb basketball team. We're dumb. We're young. The inexperience is really showing the last couple of nights, and we just do dumb things. I can't say it enough. Like last year, they were talking about how the Bucks were a dumb team. Oh, we blow that out of the water. Just the turnovers and the bad shots and the just not smart play. Tatum needs to really learn how to be aggressive. I think his youth and kind of immaturity on a big stage like this is really coming out. He's not aggressive. He's fading away. He continually whines at the officiating. It drives me insane.
I think it drives the coach Shane too. You could see it drives the coach a little bit insane too.
It's so frustrating to think, and like I said it yesterday, and John Sally tried to talk me off the ledge, but it really feels like blowing Game 4 as they did at home controlling that whole game and having a 10-point lead most of the time, and then just absolutely pooping the bed in the last 5 minutes, it felt like they gave away the championship. And I feel that, and I feel that right now. And I feel like on Thursday in Boston, there's going to be a celebration, and it's going to be for the Golden State Warriors.
I don't know. We have a couple of days to chew on whether there's going to be a Game 7 or not. Just last night, last night, Tatum, I thought in the second half, in that third quarter, he was terrific. He was sublime. He was making his shots. He was drawing defenders. He had an incredible skip pass from one side of the arc all the way to the opposite corner that led to, I think Grant Williams found somebody underneath for a hoop too. He was making all the right plays, and if he could put together 4 quarters like that.
And that's the thing, can't. I mean, he had one shot in the first quarter last night. What are we doing?
So, and then unfortunately for you, the good Draymond Green showed up last night. The really, really good Draymond Green. The loose ball diving, fan high-fiving, lane driving, dishing.
Sound like Ric Flair.
Draymond Green. That's what we saw last night in the first quarter when Steph began having his 0 for night. And then Andrew Wiggins, man.
He's been awesome.
Andrew Wiggins has been nothing short of terrific. And he is rising and firing from 2-point range. He's getting the mid-range jumper going down. He's getting to the basket. I mean, the one aspect of this Warriors team that is pleasantly surprising outside of Jordan Poole's ascendancy, and obviously the playoffs, as these playoffs have matriculated, Poole has found it more and more difficult to stay on the floor because of his defense. And he hasn't gotten into the flow. He had some big games early on in the playoffs, and I think, some big boy pants are arriving in the form of the Celtics defense, and the offense is finding him every single time he's on the floor defensively. He appears to be a liability, but outside of Jordan Poole's remarkable season, the pleasant surprise has been Andrew Wiggins playing to the first overall selection level of play that the Timberwolves were hoping for all that time. And on top of it, the one aspect of Wiggins that nobody saw coming this year, and certainly in these finals and these playoffs, is Andrew Wiggins, the posterizer. I mean, he did it to the Mavs, as you know, and he did it last night to the Celtics, just jamming it down when the crowd needs to just get off their feet. Again, Suze took Cooper to Game 5 last night. He's a diehard Celtic fan. He was wearing his Celtic zip-up during the step-up yesterday because he needed to wear it before he went to the airport. She took him to the game last night, and part of me was, even though I knew he was disappointed in the final result, I was disappointed for him, too, is that he, in the building for a big-time Warriors game, didn't see one Steph Curry 3-point shot go in.
Wow,
because
right.
As you know, a way a building can be electrified by a certain player when a certain player does a certain thing. It's so rare in sports. You're seeing it right now with the Yankees when Aaron Judge goes yard. You saw it all those years ago when Marshawn Lynch scored a touchdown in front of the 12s. J.J. Watt coming up with a big sack turnover of any sort in NRG Stadium in Houston. That's the sort of stuff that you get a player plugged in like the Matrix with a coaxial cable to the fan base, and their performance electrifies the entire arena. That's what Steph does for that place. And in lieu of that last night, a Klay Thompson 3 will suffice, but nothing like a Steph 3. Wiggins going down the lane and jamming it down. That's the sort of juice that he's bringing to this team as well. That play, and then Draymond Green diving into the crowd in the first quarter, landing on a patron, an unsuspecting lady.
Took her out.
And then he makes sure she's okay, and the whole arena is embracing him because he's checking to see if a fan is okay, and he's high-fiving fans. That's the sort of juice that the Warriors got from Game 5 last night and put the Celtics right there at their backs against the wall. And the Warriors are now one game away from winning it all.